राधा राधा, ठीक है। तो आफ्टर डेथ ऑफ बलबन 1286 में बलबन मर गया, तो उसके बाद में कन्फ्यूजन आ गया दिल्ली सल्तनत में, ठीक है। बलबन ने उसका सक्सेसर इसको चूज करा प्रिंस मोहम्मद को, ठीक है। हैड डाइड अर्ली इन द बैटल विद द मंगोल, तो वो मर गया, उसका सक्सेसर भी मर गया, ठीक है, मंगोल के साथ लड़ते लड़ते। सेकंड सन जो बुगरा खान जो उसने बेसिकली क्या प्रेफर टू, उसने सोचा कि मैं बुगरा खान ने बोला कि मैं तो बंगाल बिहार पे रूल करूंगा, ठीक है। ही वाज इनवाइटेड बाय नोबल से दिल्ली टू अज्यूम द थ्रोन एंड द ग्रैंडसन ऑफ द बलबन वाज इंस्टॉल्ड इन दिल्ली। तो सेकंड सन जो बुगरा खान प्रेफर टू रूल ओवर बंगाल एंड बिहार, मतलब उसने प्रेफर किया कि मैं बंगाल बिहार के रूल करूंगा, और उसको जो नोबल्स ने जो इनवाइट करा था पर ही नहीं गया, ठीक है। हैंस ग्रैंडसन जो बलबन का वो जो है दिल्ली पे आ गया, बट बेसिकली क्या वो बहुत यंग था और इनएक्सपीरियंस था, ठीक है। तो बेसिकली क्या रिसेंटमेंट एंड अपोजिशन हुआ एट एन अटेम्प्ट ऑफ द टर्किश नोबल्स टू मोनोपलाइज हिज हाई ऑफिस, ठीक है। देन बेसिकली लड़ते रहते नोबल अपने आप में कि कौन बैठेगा गद्दी पे, ठीक है, हाई ऑफिस पे, ठीक है। मैंने नॉन टर्क जैसे खलजीज हो गए तो इंडिया में आए एट द टाइम व्हेन घुरिद इन्वेजन के टाइम पे खलजी आए, ठीक है, नॉन टर्क, ठीक है। तो जो है दे had never received sufficient recognition in Delhi and had to move to Bengal and Bihar for opportunity for advancement. तो दिल्ली में इतना ज़्यादा फेम नहीं मिला तो वो बंगाल बिहार चले गए, ठीक है। दे हैड ऑल्सो फाउंड कंप्लॉयमेंट एज सोल्जर्स एंड मेनी ऑफ देम जो बीइंग पोस्टेड टू द नॉर्थ वेस्ट टू मीट मंगोल चैलेंज, तो काफी लोगों को सोल्जर्स के जैसे करा और जो नॉर्थ वेस्ट में डिप्लॉय कर दिया कि मंगोल चैलेंज को फेस करो, ठीक है। तो कोर्स ऑफ टाइम में क्या होगी, मेनी मुस्लिम जो इंडियन मुस्लिम थे तो वो नोबल बन गए, ठीक है। तो दे आल्सो जस्ट वर बेसिकली डिसाइडेड बीइंग डिनाइड हाई ऑफिस, इनको भी हाई ऑफिस नहीं देते थे, ठीक है। एज मी इन्फर्ड फ्रॉम द मैनर इन विच बेसिकली इमाउद्दीन रिहान वाज पुट अप अगेंस्ट बलबन, ठीक है। बलबन का ओन एग्जांपल ऑफ सेटिंग असाइड द सन ऑफ नसरुद्दीन, बलबन ने भी खुद जो बेसिकली क्या है setting aside son of Nasiruddin had demonstrated that the successful general could ascend the throne by ousting the succession of any established dynasty provided he had the sufficient support in the nobility and the army, ठीक है। खिलजी तो ये 1290 से 1320 तक चला, ये 1320 तक चला, ठीक है। तो ग्रुप ऑफ खिलजी नोबल लेड बाय जलालुद्दीन खिलजी जो हु हैड बीन जो वार्डन ऑफ द मार्चेस इन नॉर्थ वेस्ट एंड हैड फॉट मेनी सक्सेसफुल एंगेजमेंट अगेंस्ट द मंगोल ओवर द इनकम्पिटेंट सक्सेसर ऑफ बलबन। तो जलालुद्दीन खिलजी जो ये बेसिकली नॉर्थ वेस्ट पे थे, तो जो इनसक्सेसफुल जो थे सक्सेसर उनको हरा दिया, और बेसिकली क्या है बलबन की जो सक्सेसर थे उनको हरा दिया। तो खिलजी रिबेलियन वाज बेसिकली वेलकम बाय द नॉन टर्किश सेक्शन द नोबिलिटी। तो खिलजी के अगेंस्ट नॉन टर्क सेक्शन हो गए कि भाई तुम भी तो नॉन टर्क हो, हम भी नॉन टर्क है, तो हम आएंगे, ठीक है। टर्क्स को ये उन्होंने नहीं करा। देन खिलजी डिड नॉट एक्सक्लूड द टर्क फ्रॉम द हाई, खिलजी उन लोगों ने जो टर्क्स को हाई ऑफिस से नहीं एक्सक्लूड करा। अदरवाइज द खिलजी टू द पावर एंडेड द टर्किश मोनोपोली ऑफ हाई ऑफिस, ठीक है, मोनोपोली हटा दी। जैसे खिलजी आए ना तो एंडेड द टर्किश मोनोपोली, मतलब तुम ही नहीं रहोगे और भी आ सकते हैं टू हाई ऑफिस। जलालुद्दीन खिलजी रूल ओनली फॉर अ ब्रीफ पीरियड ऑफ 6 years, अच्छा। ही ट्राइड टू मिटिगेट सम ऑफ द हार्श एस्पेक्ट्स ऑफ द बंगाल बलबन रूलर, तो बलबन के जो भी हार्श थे उनको रिवर्स कर दिया। ही वाज द फर्स्ट रूलर ऑफ द दिल्ली सल्तनत टू क्लियरली पुट फॉरवर्ड व्यू दैट द स्टेट कुड बी बेस्ड ऑन द विलिंग सपोर्ट ऑफ द गवर्नड एंड दैट सिंस द लार्ज मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द पीपल इन इंडिया वर हिंदू द स्टेट इन इंडिया कुड नॉट बी टू इस्लामिक स्टेट। पहला जो था इसने बोला कि भाई जो लोग हैं उनकी भी व्यूज होनी चाहिए, और सिंस ये स्टेट जो हिंदू स्टेट है तो पूरी तरीके से इस्लामिक स्टेट नहीं हो सकता, ठीक है। ही आल्सो ट्रेन टू ट्राई टू गेन द गुडविल ऑफ द नोबिलिटी बाय पुलिस पॉलिसी ऑफ टॉलरेंस एंड अवॉइडिंग हार्श पनिशमेंट। तो ये टॉलरेंट था, बेसिकली हार्श पनिशमेंट नहीं करता था नोबिलिटी को प्लीज करने के लिए, ठीक है। हाउएवर मेनी जो पीपल इंक्लूडिंग हिज सपोर्टर कंसीडर्ड दिस टू बी अ वीक पॉलिसी व्हिच वाज नॉट सूटेड टू द टाइम। तो काफी लोग जो इसको वीक पॉलिसी मानते थे, ठीक है। दिल्ली सल्तनत फेस न्यूमरस इंटरनल एंड एक्सटर्नल फोर्स, उसके बहुत सारे अंदर और बाहर दुश्मन थे। फॉर दिस रीजन देयर वाज बेसिकली सेंस ऑफ इनसिक्योरिटी, ठीक है। जलालुद्दीन पॉलिसी वाज रिवर्स्ड बाय अलाउद्दीन जलालुद्दीन की जो पॉलिसी थी वो अलाउद्दीन ने रिवर्स कर दी, ठीक है। कहाँ गया, who awarded your drastic punishment to all those who dare to oppose him। तो जो भी अपोज करता था उनको खतरनाक पनिशमेंट देता था। अलाउद्दीन जो है 1296 से 1316 तक चला, ठीक है। तो थ्रोन पे किंग बाय ट्रेचरसली मर्डरिंग हिज अंकल एंड फादर इन लॉ जलालुद्दीन, तो उसने मार दिया उसको। एज द गवर्नर ऑफ अवध, जो गवर्नर था अवध का अलाउद्दीन, ए हो गया, अवध अलाउद्दीन हो गया। हैज एक्यूमुलेटेड वास्ट ट्रेजर बाय बेसिकली इन्वेडिंग देवगार इन द डेक्कन। तो बेसिकली अवध था, अवध का ये था, तो इसने देवगार पे भी मतलब वहाँ से बहुत सारा पैसा लूट लिया, ठीक है। जलालुद्दीन हैड गॉन टू विजिट हिज नेफ्यू एट कारा इन द होप ऑफ गेटिंग द होल्ड ऑफ दिस ट्रेजर। ही हैड लेफ्ट मोस्ट ऑफ हिज आर्मी बिहाइंड एंड हैज क्रॉस्ड द रिवर गंगा विद ओनली few followers so that his nephew might not take fright and run away. After murdering his uncle, Alauddin won over most of the nobles and soldiers to his side by a lavish use of gold. तो उसने मार दिया, उसके बाद में अपनी साइड में कर दिया, गोल्ड देके उनको पूंछ दे दी, ठीक है। But for some time Alauddin had to face a serious rebellion. Some of the disgruntled nobles and some of the Alauddin's own relation, कुछ तो nobles थे, कुछ उसके खुद के relatives थे। To oversaw his opponent, Alauddin adopted method of utmost severity and ruthlessly, तो basically बहुत severe था और कुछ चलने के लिए। Most of the nobles who had defected to him by the lure of gold were either killed or dismissed and their properties confiscated। अच्छा, पहले तो उनको गोल्ड दी थी, फिर उसको दोबारा मार के खुद दोबारा से उनकी जो प्रॉपर्टी ले ली। अलाउद्दीन ने ऐसा करा। Then severe punishment was given to the rebellious member of his own family, ठीक है। He restored to a wholesome massacre of मंगोल, a couple of thousands of them having settled down in Delhi after embracing Islam in the time of Jalaluddin, अच्छा, ठीक है। उनको जो है मसाकर कर दिया मंगोल को, जलालुद्दीन के टाइम पे दिल्ली में सेटल हो गए थे, ठीक है। These new जो है converts had rebelled, demanding a large share in the loot in Gujarat। अच्छा, वो बोलते थे कि हमको गुजरात में शेयर दो अपना। अलाउद्दीन जो gave harsh punishment even to the wives and children of these rebels, अच्छा, a practice which according to the historian Barani was a new one and was basically continued by successor। तो ये भी successor ने continue करा। Alauddin framed a series of regulations to prevent the nobles from conspiring against him, ठीक है। They were forbidden to hold banquets or festival or to form marriage alliance without the permission of the sultan। तो मतलब वो फेस्टिवल नहीं कर सकते थे और बिना सुल्तान की परमिशन के मैरिज नहीं कर सकते थे, ठीक है। To discourage the festive parties he banned the use of wines and intoxicant। तो वाइन और इंटॉक्सिकेंट कोई नहीं पिएगा। He also instituted a spice service to बलबन ने भी स्पाई करा था, ये इंटॉक्सिकेंट ये बलबन ने भी करा था, ठीक है। बलबन तो खुद नहीं पीता था, अभी क्या इसने किसी को भी नहीं पीने दिया, और इसने स्पाइस सर्विस लिया टू इन्फॉर्म द सुल्तान ऑफ ऑल दैट द नोबल said and did, जो भी क्या करे, क्या बोल रहे हो, क्या कर रहे हैं, ठीक है। By this harsh method, Alauddin Khilji cowed down the nobles and made them completely subservient to the crown. No further rebellion took place during his lifetime, ठीक है। कोई rebellion नहीं हुआ। But in the long run, his method proved harmful to the dynasty. The old nobility were destroyed, ठीक है, पुरानी nobility destroyed गई, and the new nobility was taught to accept anyone who could ascend to the throne of Delhi। मतलब कोई भी आ सकता है, न्यू nobility में कोई भी आ सकता है, ठीक है। This became apparent after Alauddin Khilji death in 1316 में, ठीक है। His favorite जो है मलिक काफूर raised a minor son of Alauddin to the throne and imprisoned or blinded his other sons. अच्छा, without encountering any opposition from the nobles. अच्छा, तो उसका जो मलिक काफूर था उसने एक बेटे को तो गद्दी पे बिठा दिया, दूसरे को मार दिया और nobles ने भी रिबेल नहीं करा, ठीक है. So now after this काफूर was killed by his palace guard and a Hindu convert खुसरो ascended the throne. तो फिर काफूर को मार दिया किसने? खुसरो ने, वो पैलेस गार्ड था उसका, ठीक है. Although the historian of the time accused Khusro of being anti-Islamic and of committing all types of crime, the fact is that Khusro was no worse than any of the preceding monarchs. ठीक है. Nor was there any open resentment voiced against him by the Muslim nobles or by the population of Delhi. Even जो निजामुद्दीन औलिया, the famous Sufi saint of the Delhi, acknowledged Khusro by accepting his gift. अच्छा, निजामुद्दीन औलिया ने जो है खुसरो को एक्सेप्ट करा, कि उसके एक्नॉलेज करा, उसकी प्रेज करी by accepting his gift. This had a positive aspect too, ठीक है. It showed that the Muslim of Delhi and the neighboring areas were no longer swayed by racist consideration. अब racist नहीं, कोई भी मुस्लिम है वो बन जाएगा, ठीक है. हाँ, consideration and वो prepared to obey any one irrespective of his family or racial, और किसी की बात मान लेंगे. This helped in the broadening the social base of the nobility since further, हाँ, still further, ठीक है. तो nobility बढ़ेगी, कोई भी आ सकता है, टर्किश नहीं आएंगे, कोई भी आ जाएंगे, हिंदू मुस्लिम भी आ जाएंगे, हिंदू कन्वर्टेड मुस्लिम भी आ जाएंगे, ठीक है, इंडियन मुस्लिम मतलब. However, in 1320 में क्या हुआ, group of officers led by Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq raised the banner of revolt. अच्छा, they broke out into open rebellion and in hard fought battle outside the capital Khusro was defeated and killed. खुसरो को मार दिया, ठीक है. राधा फिर क्या है, तो तुगलक तो ये बेसिकली 1320 से राधा तो Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq established a new dynasty which ruled till 1412. Tughlaq जो provided three competent rulers, Ghiyasuddin, his son उसका Muhammad bin Tughlaq, and उसका nephew जो फिरोज शाह तुगलक, ठीक है. The first of these two, the sultan, ruled over an empire which comprises almost the entire country. तो फर्स्ट जो है वो पूरे कंट्री पे रूल कर रहे थे. The empire जो है फिरोज was smaller but even then it was almost as large as the rule by Alauddin Khilji. तो उसके बराबर था, स्मॉल था, पर फिर भी फिरोज का जो है फिरोज शाह तुगलक का Alauddin Khilji के बराबर था, ठीक है. After the death of Firoz, the Delhi Sultanate जो disintegrated, North India was divided into series of small states में, ठीक है. टूट गया फिरोज के मरने के बाद में, नॉर्थ इंडिया डिवाइड हो गया, ठीक है. Although Tughlaq continued to rule till जो है 1412, the invasion of Delhi by Taimur in 1398 may be said to mark the end of the Tughlaq Empire, ठीक है. तो जैसे तैमूर आया तो उसके बाद में तुगलक एम्पायर वो डिसइंटीग्रेट हो गया, ठीक है. We shall first examine the remarkable expansion of Delhi Sultanate from the time of Alauddin, ठीक है. Then expansion of Delhi Sultanate, ठीक है. राधे expansion. तो we have seen how eastern Rajasthan including Rajmir and some of his neighboring territories had come under the control of Delhi Sultanate. तो eastern Rajasthan Delhi Sultanate के अंदर आ गई है. दो from time of Balban, रणथंभौर जो मोस्ट पावरफुल राजपूत स्टेट था वो उसके कंट्रोल से बाहर चला गया, रणथंभौर जो था, ठीक है. जलालुद्दीन जो had undertaken an invasion of रणथंभौर but found the Raj too difficult. जलालुद्दीन जो है इन्वेट करा पर वो नहीं सक्सेसफुल हो पाया. तो द सदर्न एंड द वेस्टर्न राजस्थान had remained outside the control of सुल्तान. तो साउथ वाला और वेस्ट वाला, ठीक है. तो जब अलाउद्दीन आया तो उसमें क्या हुआ कि 25 साल के अंदर जो दिल्ली सल्तनत की आर्मी थी, जो है आर्मीज ऑफ दिल्ली सल्तनत नॉट ओनली बेसिकली गुजरात और मालवा को ले आया अपने अंडर, ठीक है. एंड सबडिड मोस्ट ऑफ द प्रिंसेस ऑफ राजस्थान जितने भी थे उनको अपने अंडर ले आया राजस्थान के, ठीक है. दे आल्सो ओवर एंड द डेक्कन एंड सदर्न टिप ऑफ द अप टू मदुरई. तो डेक्कन में भी चलेगा और मदुरई तक चलेगा, ठीक है. तो एन अटेम्प्ट वाज मेड टू ब्रिंग हिज जो है दिस वास्ट एरिया अंडर द डायरेक्ट एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव कंट्रोल ऑफ दिल्ली. तो उसने सोचा कि दिल्ली के अंडर डायरेक्टली होना चाहिए, किसी को नहीं देंगे, ठीक है. The new phase of the expansion was initiated by Alauddin and was basically continued under his successor. तो expansion जो Alauddin ने स्टार्ट करा और successor भी कंटिन्यू करा. The climax being reached during the reign of Muhammad bin Tughlaq. तो मोहम्मद बिन तुगलक के बाद में जो है कम होता गया, ठीक है. इसके बाद में we have already seen how the Delhi Sultanate was gradually geared up for this renewed phase of expansion. At this time जो मालवा, गुजरात, Deogir were being ruled by Rajput dynasty. तो ये तीनों Rajput dynasty रूल कर रहे थे. Most of which had come into existence towards the end of the 12th and the beginning of the 13th century. Despite the establishment of Turkish rule in the Ganga Valley में टर्किश रूल आ गया था. Dynasties had hardly changed their old ways. तो dynasty का old way चला था अभी dynastic. ठीक है. मोरओवर ईच वन ऑफ देम जो है वो कंटेंडिंग फॉर मास्टरी ओवर द एंटायर रीजन. हर कोई चाहता कि मैं पूरा रीजन कंट्रोल करूँ, ठीक है. सो मच सो व्हेन अंडर इल्तुतमिश द टर्क जो अटैक गुजरात, द रूलर ऑफ बोथ मालवा एंड देवगर अटैक्ड फ्रॉम द साउथ. इन मराठा रीजन द रूलर ऑफ द देवगर वाज कॉन्स्टेंटली एट वॉर विद वारंगल इन द तेलंगाना रीजन विद होयसाला इन द कर्नाटक रीजन में एरिया में. द होयसाला इन टर्न जो है वर एट वॉर विद द नेबरिंग पांड्याज इन माबार, दैट इज समीर एरिया. These rivals not only made the conquest of Malwa and Gujarat easier but tend to draw an invader further and further into the south. Turkish ruler had strong reason for coveting Malwa and Gujarat. ये फर्टाइल एरिया थे, पॉपुलस थे, तो ये क्या बोलते हैं कंट्रोल करते थे वेस्टर्न सी पोर्ट एंड ट्रेड रूट्स कनेक्टिंग देम विद गंगा वैली. अच्छा, तो ट्रेड पोर्ट हो गए, सी पोर्ट हो जाएगा, ट्रेड रूट हो जाएगा जो कि जो गंगा वैली को कनेक्ट करते थे, ठीक है. तो ओसी ट्रेड फ्रॉम द गुजरात पोर्ट बॉट इन अ लॉट ऑफ गोल्ड एंड सिल्वर व्हिच हैड बीन अक्यूमुलेटेड बाय रूलर ऑफ द एरिया, ठीक है. अनदर रीजन फॉर द सुल्तान ऑफ दिल्ली टू एस्टैब्लिश देयर रूल ओवर गुजरात वाज दैट इट कुड सिक्योर देम अ बेटर कंट्रोल ओवर द सप्लाई ऑफ हॉर्स टू द आर्मीज. तो हॉर्स मिलते थे यहाँ से. विद द rise of Mongolia in the central and western Asia and there is struggle with the ruler of Delhi, the supply of horses of the good quality to Delhi from this region has been beset with difficulties. The import of the Arabi, Iraqi and Turkey horses to India from the west seaport had been an important item of the trade since the 18th century. तो ये horse लेके आ रहे थे यहाँ से, ठीक है. तो early 1299 में क्या हुआ कि an army under 2 of the Alauddin Khilji note, an army under 2 Alauddin Khilji's note general marched against Gujarat by way of Rajasthan. तो Alauddin Khilji ने गुजरात की तरफ गया राजस्थान के होते हुए, राजस्थान से, ठीक है. ऑन देयर वे दे रेडेड एंड कैप्चर्ड जैसलमेर आल्सो. तो जैसलमेर भी कैप्चर कर लिया था. गुजरात रूलर राय करण जो है वाज टेकन बाय सरप्राइज एंड फ्लड विदाउट ऑफरिंग अ फाइट. तो वो जो राय करण था वो भाग लिया, उसने फाइट भी नहीं करी. चीफ सिटीज ऑफ जो है गुजरात इंक्लूडिंग द अनहिलवारा वो बिंग where many beautiful buildings and temples had been built over generation were sacked. The famous temple of Somnath जो है which had been rebuilt in the 12th century was also plundered and sacked. तो अहिलवारा और जो सोमनाथ इसको कर दिया, ठीक है. इसके बाद में क्या enormous booty was collected nor were the wealthy Muslim merchant of the Camby spared. तो जो मुस्लिम मर्चेंट उनको भी लूट लिया, ठीक है. It was that the Malik Kafur who later led the invasion of South India was captured. तो यहाँ पे जो है कैम्बे में ही मलिक काफूर को जो साउथ में जा रहा था उसको कैप्चर कर लिया. He was presented to Alauddin and soon rose in his जो है estimation. अच्छा, तो उसको कैप्चर करके अलाउद्दीन को दे दिया, फिर वो उसके अंदर होने लग गया. देन गुजरात नाउ पास्ड अंडर द कंट्रोल ऑफ दिल्ली, तो गुजरात दिल्ली के पास ला गया. द रेपिडिटी एंड ईज विद गुजरात वाज कंकर्ड सच एज द गुजरात रूलर वाज नॉट पॉपुलर among his subjects. तो गुजरात रूलर वीक का. इट अपीयर दैट वन ऑफ हिज मिनिस्टर हु हैड फॉलन आउट with him had approached Alauddin to invade Gujarat. अच्छा ऐसा लगता है कि उसका जो मिनिस्टर था उसी ने अलाउद्दीन को बोला कि गुजरात को आक्रमण करो एंड हेल्प हिम. अच्छा गुजरात आर्मी में आल्सो हैव नॉट वेल ट्रेन्ड एंड एडमिनिस्ट्रेड लैक्स. ठीक है. देन विद द हेल्प ऑफ द रामचंद्र द रूलर ऑफ द देवगार द ऑस्ट्रेड रूलर ऑफ द राईकरण मैनेज टू होल्ड ऑन टू अ पोर्शन ऑफ साउथ गुजरात. अच्छा तो रायचंद्र की हेल्प से, जो रायचंद्र कौन था, देवगार का रूलर था, तो उसके हेल्प से जो रायकरण जो है वो रामचंद्र की हेल्प से रायकरण वो गुजरात के कुछ साउथ पोर्शन है वहाँ पे रहने लग गया. ठीक है. एज वेल as we shall see this pride and nation cause of war between Delhi and the Yadavas of Deogiri, Rajasthan. तो after the conquest of Gujarat, Alauddin turned his attention to the conquest of his rule over Rajasthan. ठीक है. गुजरात के बाद में राजस्थान के आ गया. The first to invite his attention was Ranthambore, which was being built by the Chauhan successor of Prithviraj. तो रणथंभौर को चौहान के सक्सेसर ने बनाया था, पृथ्वीराज के सक्सेसर ने. इस रूलर जो है हमीर देव had embarked on a series of warlike expedition against his neighbor. तो हमीर देव जो था वो नेबर पे लड़ाई कर रहा था. He is credited with having won the victories against Raja Bhoj of Dhar and Rana of Mewar. तो ये जो है हमीर देव जो राजा भोज उससे जीता और जो है धार का नहीं राजा भोज of Dhar and Rana जो है मेवाड़ से जीत गया. But it was these victories which proved to be his undoing. After the Gujarat campaign on their way back to Delhi, the Mongol soldiers rebelled and followed a dispute regarding the share of the booty. तो मंगोल सोल्जर जो लड़ाई होगी इनमें. The rebellion was crushed and a wholesale जो मैसेकर followed. तो ठीक है. तो the Mongol nobles fled for refuge to the Ranthambore. तो दो जो है वो रणथंभौर में चले गए. अलाउद्दीन sent message to हमीर देव to kill or expel Mongol. तो उसने बोला कि या तो उसको मार दो या मेरे को दे दो, ठीक है, या भगा दो उसको. But हमीर देव जो है with a high sense of dignity and obligation to those who had sought refuge with him and being confident of the strength of his fort and armies, he sent haughty reply. उसने बोला मैं नहीं कर रहा. He was not far wrong in his estimate and for Ranthambore was reputed to be the strongest fort in the Rajasthan and had earlier defied Jalauddin Khilji. तो पहले उसको हरा दिया था जलाउद्दीन खिलजी को रणथंभौर ने. Alauddin dispatched an army commanded by one of his reputed general, but it was repulsed with loss by हमीर देव. तो भेजा उसने, फिर हमीर देव ने हरा दिया. फाइनली जो अलाउद्दीन खिलजी खुद ही गया रणथंभौर में. तो फेमस जो पोएट अमीर खुसरो हु वेंट अलोंग अलाउद्दीन, उसके साथ में गया अमीर खुसरो. ठीक है. दिन में खुश रहते हैं. तो उसने डिस्क्राइब करा जो है फोर्ट का था एंड इट्स इन्वेस्टमेंट. आफ्टर 3 months ऑफ द क्लोज सीन द fearful जो है जौहर सेरेमनी टुक प्लेस. तो जौहर हुआ 3 महीने के बाद में. द वुमेन जो माउंटेड द फ्यूनरल एंड ऑल द मेन जो केम आउट टू फाइट टू द लास्ट. दिस इज द फर्स्ट डिस्क्रिप्शन टू वी हैव जौहर इन द पर्शिया. द फर्स्ट डिस्क्रिप्शन है ये. ऑल द मंगोल टू डाइड फाइटिंग विद. अच्छा मंगोल भी राजपूत के साथ में फाइट करने लगे. ठीक है. Then Alauddin next turned his attention towards Chittor, which after Ranthambore was the most powerful state Rajasthan में. चित्तौड़ Ranthambore में चित्तौड़ most powerful था. It was therefore necessary for Alauddin to subdue it. Apart from this, its ruler जो है रतन सिंह had annoyed him by refusing permission to his army to march to Gujarat through मेवाड़ territories. तो राणा रतन सिंह ने बोला कि मैं अपना टेरिटरी नहीं दूंगा, तो गुजरात में जा रहा तो और कहीं से जाओ, मेवाड़ का टेरिटरी मैं नहीं दूंगा. ठीक है. तो चित्तौड़ जो also dominated the route from Ajmer to Malwa. तो ये अजमेर से मालवा का रूट जो यहाँ से जा रहा था. There is a popular legend that Alauddin attacked Chittor because he coveted Padmi, the beautiful queen of Ratan Singh. However, many modern historians do not accept this legend because it is mentioned for the first time more than 100 years later. In this story, Padmini is the prince of Singhaldvipa, and Ratan Singh crosses the 7 seas to reach her and bring her back to Chittor after many adventures which appear improbable. The Padmini legend is a part of his account. Padmini जो है वो इसी का account थी. Then Alauddin closely जो है invested Chittor after a valiantly resistance by the Bisais for several months. Alauddin just stormed the fort. ठीक है. 1303 में. Then Rajput performed Johar and most of the warrior died fighting, but it seemed that Ratan Singh was captured alive and kept in prison for some time. Chittor was assigned to Alauddin's minor son. Alauddin का minor son को दे दिया, खिरज खान को दे दिया, and the Muslim garrison was posted in the fort में. ठीक है. After some time its charge was handed over to cousin of अच्छा रतन सिंह के cousin उसको दे दिया कुछ टाइम बाद में. पहले अलाउद्दीन के बेटे को था, इसके बाद में रतन सिंह की जो cousin उसको दे दिया. ठीक है. Alauddin also overran Jalore, which lay on the route to Gujarat. Almost all the other major states in Rajasthan were forced to submit to him. However, it seemed that he did not try to establish direct administration of the Rajput state. वो डायरेक्टली नहीं एडमिनिस्ट्रेट करता. राजपूत रूलर were allowed to rule but had to pay regular tribute and to obey the order of sultan. मतलब तुम लोग रूल करो और ट्रिब्यूट पैसे देते रहो और बेसिकली ऑर्डर को मानते रहो. मुस्लिम जो गाइसन पोस्टेड इन सम ऑफ द इंपॉर्टेंट टाउन्स सच एज अजमेर, नागौर. तो मुस्लिम जो है गाइसन मतलब कुछ ट्रूप्स रख दिए यहाँ पे अजमेर और नागौर में. 10 राजस्थान वाज थॉरली सबड्यूड. वो पूरी तरीके से अलाउद्दीन खिलजी के अंडर आ गया. देन टेकन साउथ इंडिया. तो बेसिकली इवन बिफोर कंप्लीटिंग द सब्जुगेशन ऑफ राजस्थान, अलाउद्दीन जो है कनकर्ड मालवा. तो राजस्थान से पहले उसने मालवा को ले लिया, which says Amir Khusro was so extensive that even wise geographers were unable to delimit its frontier. तो इतना बड़ा था, बहुत ज़्यादा बड़ा था. Unlike Rajasthan, Malwa was brought under direct administration. राजस्थान तो इंडायरेक्ट था, मालवा जो डायरेक्ट एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन के अंदर आता था. एंड गवर्नर अपॉइंटेड टू लुक आफ्टर. और गवर्नर अपॉइंट कर दिया कि तुम देखो हम राजा मालवा के राजा को नहीं देंगे, वहाँ की गवर्नर किसी को दे दिया, किसी को की गवर्नर देखेगा. ठीक है. देन है 1306 में क्या अलाउद्दीन जो है planned 2 campaign. First was against रायकरण, who after his expulsion from Gujarat had been holding जो है बगलाना on the border of Malwa. तो मालवा के बॉर्डर पे था रायकरण. रायकरण जो fought bravely but he could not resist for long. ठीक है. The second expedition was aimed against the Rai रामचंद्र, द रूलर ऑफ देवगार. ठीक है. हु हैड बीन इन लाइन विद रायकरण. तो उसका दोस्त था, तो उसके अगेंस्ट था ये नेक्स्ट वाला. इन एन अर्ली जो कैंपेन रायचंद्र हैड एग्री टू पे एन ईयरली ट्रिब्यूट टू दिल्ली. बोला ठीक है मैं ट्रिब्यूट दे दूंगा. दिस हैज फॉलन टू एरियर्स. तो वो देने में लेट कर देता था. द कमांड ऑफ द सेकंड आर्मी वाज री-एंट्रस्टेड टू अलाउद्दीन स्लेव जो है मलिक काफूर. राय रामचंद्र हु सफर्ड टू काफूर जो है हैज ऑनली ट्रीटेड एंड कैरिड टू दिल्ली, वेयर आफ्टर सम टाइम ही वाज रिस्टोर्ड टू हिज डोमिनियन विद द टाइटल ऑफ रायान. तो मलिक काफूर ने इसको हरा दिया रामचंद्र को. उसके बाद में उसको अच्छे से ट्रीटमेंट दिया. उसके बाद में क्या है उसको दिल्ली लेके आए. फिर बाद में उसको जो डोमिनियन है उसको वापस कर दिया. उसको टाइटल दे दिया रायन. The gift of 1 lakh जो है तनख्वाह was given to him along with the golden colored canopy which was a symbol of rulership. तो उसको 1 लाख तनख्वाह दे दिया और गोल्डन कलर कैनोपी दे दी. ठीक है. ही वाज आल्सो गिवन अ डिस्ट्रिक्ट ऑफ गुजरात. वन ऑफ हिज डॉटर वाज मैरिड टू अलाउद्दीन. तो उसको एक गुजरात का डिस्ट्रिक्ट भी दे दिया रायन को. और उसकी डॉटर जो है अलाउद्दीन से शादी कर दी. द अलायंस विद राय रामचंद्र वाज टू प्रूव टू बी अ ग्रेट वैल्यू टू अलाउद्दीन इन हिज फर्दर aggrandizement in the Deccan. तो हेल्पफुल था. ठीक है. देन बिटवीन जो 1309 से 1311 मलिक काफूर लेड टू जो कैंपेन इन साउथ इंडिया में. तो मलिक काफूर यार ठीक है. फर्स्ट जो है वो वारंगल के अगेंस्ट था तेलंगाना में. ठीक है. दूसरा जो है द्वार समुद्रम एंड माबार मॉडर्न कर्नाटक एंड मदुरई तमिलनाडु। द्वार समुद्र में मावर ये मॉडर्न कर्नाटक में, मदुरई तमिलनाडु में, तो यहाँ पे गया। तो एक्सपीडिशन के बारे में लिखा गया क्योंकि दे स्ट्रक द इमेजिनेशन ऑफ द कंटेम्प्रेरीज। अमीर खुसरो जो पोएट था उसने बेसिकली लिख दिया बुक में अपने। दीस कैंपेन जो रिफ्लेक्टेड बोल्डनेस, सेल्फ कॉन्फिडेंस, हाई डिग्री ऑफ स्पिरिट ऑफ एडवेंचर। ठीक है, फर्स्ट टाइम जो मुस्लिम आर्मी जो पेंटेड एज फार एज मदुरई, तो फर्स्ट टाइम ये गई मुस्लिम, पहले नॉर्थ में थी, अभी पहली बार यहाँ के। एंड नॉट बैक अनटोल्ड वेल्थ, दे प्रोवाइडेड फर्स्ट हैंड इन्फॉर्मेशन अबाउट द कंडीशन इन द साउथ, दो दे हार्डली प्रोवाइड एनी फ्रेश ज्योग्राफिकल नॉलेज। ज्योग्राफिकल नॉलेज तो पता थी इनको, पर जो कुछ जो पॉलिटिकल इन्फॉर्मेशन दे दी। द ट्रेड रूट्स टू साउथ वर वेल नोन एंड बेसिकली व्हेन काफूर आर्मीज रीच पटना इन माबार, दे फाउंड द कॉलोनी ऑफ मुस्लिम मर्चेंट सेटल देयर। तो जब वहाँ पे गए तो मुस्लिम मर्चेंट रहने लगे। द रूलर इवन हैड अ कंटिजेंट ऑफ मुस्लिम ट्रूप्स इन हिज आर्मी। दिस एक्सपेडिशन जो ग्रेटली रेज काफूर इन पब्लिक एस्टिमेशन एंड अलाउद्दीन अपॉइंटमेंट हिम जो है मलिक नायब और वाइस रीजेंट ऑफ एम्पायर। उसको मलिक नायब या फिर वाइस रीजेंट बना दिया अलाउद्दीन काफूर को। Then politically, however, the effect of these campaign was limited. Kafur was able to force the ruler of Warangal and Dwar Samudram to sue for peace, to surrender all their treasure and elephant, and to promise an annual tribute. ठीक है, तो ये सब करा उसने, बोला कि तुम ट्रिब्यूट दो वारंगल द्वार समुद्रम को, कि तुम एलिफेंट दो, ट्रेजर दो, ये सब दो। ठीक है, टू सिक्योर दिस ट्रिब्यूट एन एनुअल कैंपेन कुड बी नीडेड। तो ये सिक्योर करने के लिए हर साल जो कैंपेन करना पड़ेगा, नहीं तो ये इंडिपेंडेंट हो जाएंगे। इन द केस ऑफ माबार इवन दिस फॉर्मल एग्रीमेंट वाज नॉट जो फोर्थ कमिंग। ठीक है, तो माबार ने बोला नहीं, मैं नहीं दे रहा। ठीक है, द रूलर देयर हैड अवॉइडेड अ पिच्ड बैटल। काफूर जो हैड प्लंडर्ड as much as he could, including a number of wealthy temples such as Chidambaram, modern जो मद्रास में है, but he had to return to Delhi without being able to defeat the Tamil armies. Despite the trouble following the death of the Alauddin, within a decade and a half of his death, all the southern kingdom they mentioned above were wiped out and their territories brought under direct administration of Delhi. ठीक है, तो दिल्ली के अंदर डायरेक्टली आ गए। अलाउद्दीन himself was not in favor of direct administration of southern state, वो खुद ही नहीं चाहता था कि वो डायरेक्टली एडमिनिस्टर करे साथ को। However, the change in this जो है पॉलिटी, in this polity had been begun इन इज ओन लाइफ टाइम, उसकी लाइफ टाइम में वो डायरेक्ट एडमिनिस्टर करने लगे। ठीक है, 1315 में क्या हुआ, राय रामचंद्र हु हैड रिमेन्ड स्टडीली लॉयल टू दिल्ली डाइड एंड हिज सन जो है थ्री ऑफ योक ऑफ दिल्ली। तो राय रामचंद्र जो है वो था लॉयल था, पर उसका बेटा जो है वो बोला कि मैं नहीं माना दिल्ली की बात। देन मलिक काफूर क्विकली केम एंड क्रश्ड द रिबेलियन एंड अज्यूम्ड डायरेक्ट एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन ऑफ द एरिया। फिर उसने उसको हरा दिया मलिक काफूर ने। हाउएवर मेनी जो आउटलाइंग एरियाज डिक्लेयर्ड देमसेल्व्स इंडिपेंडेंट व्हाइल अ फ्यू रिमेन्ड अंडर द कंट्रोल ऑफ डिसेंडेंट ऑफ राय। ऑन सक्सीडिंग टू द थ्रोन जो है मुबारक शाह सब्ड्यूड दियोगार अगेन। तो मुबारक शाह आया तो उसने दोबारा से दियोगार को अपने अंदर ले लिया। इंस्टॉल मुस्लिम गवर्नर देयर, मुस्लिम गवर्नर को लगा दिया। ही आल्सो रेटेड वारंगल एंड कंपेल्ड टू रूल टू सीड वन ऑफ हिज डिस्ट्रिक्ट, कि अपना एक डिस्ट्रिक्ट दो, मेरे को एंड पे एन एनुअल ट्रिब्यूट 40 गोल्ड ब्रिक्स, और मेरे को 40 गोल्ड ब्रिक दो साल भर में। खुसरो खान, a slave of the Sultan, made a plundering raid into Mabar and sacked the rich city of Patan. No conquests were made in area. Following the accession of Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq in 1320 में a sustained and vigorous forward policy was embarked upon. The Sultan's son जो Muhammad bin Tughlaq was posted to Deogar for the purpose. उसको देवगार में मोहम्मद बिन तुगलक को रख दिया on the excuse that the ruler of Warangal had not paid the tribute. Muhammad bin Tughlaq decided Warangal again, तो उसने ले लिया। ठीक है, at first these suffered a reverse, पहले तो उसको हार गया। then उसके बाद में following a rumor of Sultan's death in Delhi, the Delhi armies were disorganized and basically and defender fell upon them, inflicting heavy loss. MBT जो है had to retreat to the Deogar. After reorganizing his army, he attacked again, and this time no quarter was given to the Rai. तो फिर वो मोहम्मद बिन MBT जो है वो उसको राय को हरा दिया उसने। ठीक है, दिस वाज फॉलोड बाय कन्क्वेस्ट ऑफ माबार, वो माबार भी अंदर ले लिया, वो भी नेक्स्ट लिया। मोहम्मद बिन तुगलक जो है फिर उसने उड़ीसा को रेड करा, फिर वो दिल्ली आ गया। ठीक है, नेक्स्ट ईयर जो उसने बंगाल को सब्ड्यू कर लिया, विच हैड बीन इंडिपेंडेंट सिंस द डेथ ऑफ बलबन। बलबन के बाद से वो इंडिपेंडेंट था, तो बंगाल भी ले आया अपने अंदर। ठीक है, देन है 10 जो है 1324 में क्या हुआ कि जो है टेरिटरीज ऑफ दिल्ली सुल्तान रीच अप टू मदुरई। 1324 तक मदुरई तक चलेगा। द लास्ट हिंदू प्रिंसिपैलिटी इन द एरिया जो है कंपिली इन द साउथ कर्नाटक वाज एनेक्स्ड इन 1328 में। A cousin of Muhammad bin Tughlaq who had rebelled had given shelter there Kampili में, तो उसको shelter दे दिया, providing a convenient excuse for attacking it. ठीक है, the sudden expansion of Delhi Sultan too far south and to the east, including Orissa, created tremendous administrative and financial problem which had to be faced by Muhammad MBT. ठीक है, तो इतना ज़्यादा फैल गया तो उसको बहुत ही प्रॉब्लम फेस करनी पड़ी। Then internal reforms and किस मैनर में he tried to cope with these problems and strain which it imposed on the Sultan itself. Then internal reform and experiment. By the time Alauddin Khilji जो है came to the throne, the position of Delhi Sultan was fairly well consolidated in the central portion of the empire, that is portion comprising of Upper Ganga वैली एंड ईस्टर्न राजस्थान। तो यहाँ पे कंसोलिडेटेड था, अपर गंगा में और ईस्टर्न राजस्थान में दिल्ली सल्तनत कंसोलिडेटेड था। दिस emboldened the Sultan to undertake a series of internal reform and experiment aimed at improving the administration, strengthening the army, to gear up the machinery of land revenue administration, and to take steps to expand and improve the cultivation, to provide for welfare of the citizens in the rapidly expanding town. Not all the measures were successful, but they marked important new departure. Some of the experiment failed on account of lack of experience, some because they were not well conceived, or on account of the opposition of the Western interest. They do, however, show that Turkish state had now acquired a measure of stability, मतलब stable हो गए थे, and that it was no longer concerned merely with the warfare and law and order. ठीक है, then market control and agrarian policy of the Alauddin, राधे। तो जो है जो अलाउद्दीन की मेजर था, अलाउद्दीन ने मेजर लिया कि मार्केट को कंट्रोल करने के लिए, was one of the great wonder of the world। ठीक है, in a series of order after his basic return from चित्तौड़ कैंपेन, उसने बहुत सारे ऑर्डर दे चित्तौड़ कैंपेन के बाद अलाउद्दीन sought to fix the cost of all commodities from food grain, sugar, cooking oil to the needles, and from costly imported foods to horse, cattle, slave boys and girls, सभी की प्राइस फिक्स कर दी उसने। For the purpose he set up 3 market at Delhi, 3 market, 1 market for food grain, second for costly clothes, third for horse, slaves, cattle के लिए 3 market बनाए। Each market was under control of high officer called शाहना। हर एक मार्केट का हेड होगा शाहना, who maintained a register of the merchant and strictly controlled the shopkeepers and their price, तो लिख के रखता था। कौन मर्चेंट है, क्या नाम है उनका, कितनी प्राइस रख रहे हैं. रेगुलेशन ऑफ द प्राइस स्पेशली फूड ग्रेन वाज अ constant concern of the medieval ruler because without supply of cheap food to the town they could not hope to enjoy support of the citizen. अच्छा, an army stationed there, but Alauddin had some additional reason for controlling the market. Mongolian invasion of Delhi had pointed the need to raise large army to check them. ठीक है, large army की जरूरत पड़ी थी क्योंकि मंगोल की वजह से, but such an army जो है could soon exhaust his treasure unless he could lower the price and hence lower their salaries. To realize this objective, Alauddin जो है proceeded in a characteristically thorough way. In order to ensure a regular supply of cheap food grain, he declared that the land revenue in the Doab region, that is the area extending from Meerut from near the Yamuna to the border of Kara near Allahabad, would be paid directly to the state. That is, the village in the area would not be assigned to Ikta to anymore. मतलब वो सीधा जो है स्टेट को पैसा देगा, इकता को पैसा नहीं देगा. ठीक है. Further, the land revenue were raised to half of the produce. Land revenue भी बढ़ा दी, मतलब 100 की जरूरत है 50 की स्टेट को दे दो. This was a heavy charge and Alauddin adopted a number of measures which we shall note to cope with the situation. By raising the state demand, the generally obliging the peasants to pay it in cash. कि भाई स्टेट डिमांड करिए और peasants जो कैश में पे करो. The peasants were forced to sell their produce at a low price to Banjaras who were to carry them to the towns and to sell them at a fixed price to by the state. अच्छा. To ensure that there was no hoarding, all the Banjaras were registered and their agents and their families were held collectively responsible for any violation. अच्छा, एक ने कुछ करा गलत काम तो सभी को punishment होगी. As a further check, the state itself was a warehouse. State itself set up warehouses and stocked them with food grains which were released whenever there was a famine or threat of shortfall in supply. Alauddin kept himself constantly informed of everything, and very harsh punishment was given if any shopkeeper charged a high price or tried to cheat by using false weight and measures. Barani tells us that prices were not allowed to be increased even by dam or paisa, even during the time of famine. Thus, wheat sold at 7.5 jital a man, barley at 4 jital, good quality rice at 5 jital. Barani said the permanence of price in the grain market was wonder of the age. Control of price of horse was important for the Sultan because without the supply of good horse at reasonable price to the army, the efficiency of the army could not be maintained. The position of the supply of horse had improved as a result of the conquest of Gujarat. Good quality horses could be sold only to the state. The price of the first grade horse fixed by Alauddin was 100 to 120 tanka, while a tattu pony not fit for the army cost 10 to 25 tanka. The price of cattle was the price of cattle as well of the slave was strictly regulated, and Barani given us this price in detail. The price of the cattle and slave were mentioned side by Barani. This shows that slavery was accepted in medieval India as a normal feature. Control of the price of the other goods, especially of the costly clothes, perfumes, was not vital for the Sultan. However, their prices were still also fixed, probably because it was felt that high price in this sector would affect the price in general, or it might have been done in order to please the nobility. We are told that large sum of the money were advanced to the Multani trader for bringing fine quality clothes to Delhi from various parts of the country. तो Multani trader को बहुत ज़्यादा पैसा जाता था. As a result, Delhi became biggest market for the fine clothes, the price of which were fixed, and trader from all places flocked to Delhi in order to buy it and sell it at high price elsewhere. Realization of land revenue in cash enabled Alauddin to pay soldier in cash. Land revenue cash में देता तो soldier को pay cash में pay कर देता. He was the first sultan in the sultanate to do so. अच्छा, a savar that is cavalry man in his time was paid 238 tanka a year, or about 20 tanka a month. It appeared that he was expected to maintain himself and his horse and his equipment out of this amount. Even then, this was not a good salary. For during Akbar's time, when the price were far higher, Mughal cavalry received a salary of about 20 rupee a month. Actually, a Turkish cavalry during the 13th and the 14th century was almost a gentleman and expected a salary which would enable him to live as such. In view of this, the salary fixed by Alauddin was low and the control of the market was therefore necessary. The historian Barani thought that a major objective of Alauddin control of the market was his desire to punish the Hindus, since most of the traders were Hindus and it was they who restored to profiteering in food grain. मतलब इनको प्रॉफिट हो रहा था तो हम इनको प्रॉफिट नहीं होने देंगे. ठीक है. However, most of the other जो overland trade in the west and the central Asia was in the hands of the Khorasan, who were Muslims. तो बाकी का जो central और west Asia में trade हो रहा था Khorasan कर रहे थे, जो Muslims और मुल्तानी थे. ठीक है. Many of whom were also Muslims. Alauddin measures therefore affect these sections also, a fact which Barani does not mention. It is not clear whether the market share regulation of Alauddin were applied only to Delhi or also to other towns in the empire. Barani tells us that regulation concerning Delhi always tended to be followed in other towns also. In any case, the army was stationed not only Delhi but in other towns as well. However, we do not have sufficient information to be certain in this matter. It is clear that while the merchant Hindus and Muslims might have complained against the price control, not only the army but all the citizens, irrespective of their religion, believed benefit from the cheapness of the food grains and other articles. Rather. Apart from control of the market, Alauddin took the important step in the field of land revenue administration. He was the first monarch in the Sultanate who insisted that in Doab में land revenue would be assessed on the basis of measuring the land under cultivation. तो Doab में क्या होगा कि land को जो है land revenue will be fixed basis of the measuring the land under cultivation. This implied that the rich and the powerful in the village who had more land could not pass on their burden to the poor. Alauddin wanted that the landlord of the area called Khut and Muqaddam should pay the same tax as other. Thus they had to pay tax on milch, cattle, house like others, and forego other illegal cess which they were in habit of realizing. In the picturesque language of Barani, the Khut and Muqaddam could not afford to ride on rich capricens horse or to chew betel leaves, and they became so poor that their wives had to go and work in the house of Muslim. The policy of direct collection of land revenue based on measurement could only succeed if the amils and the other local officials were honest. Although Alauddin had given these elements salaries sufficient to enable them to live in comfort, he insisted that their account should be audited strictly. We are told that for small defaults they were be beaten and sent to prison. Barani said that their life had become so insecure that no one was willing to marry their daughter to them. No doubt this is an exaggeration because then as now government service was considered to be prestigious and those who held government offices, whether they were Hindu or Muslim, were eagerly sought as marriage partners. Although Barani writes as if all the measures mentioned above were directed solely against the Hindu, it is clear that they were in the main directed against the privileged section in the countryside. Alauddin's agrarian policy was certainly harsh and must have affected the ordinary cultivator also, but it was not so burdensome as to drive them into rebellion or fight. The market regulation of Alauddin came to an end with his death, but it did achieve a number of gains. We are told by Barani that the regulation enabled Alauddin to raise a large and efficient cavalry, which enabled him to defeat the subsequent Mongol onslaught with great slaughter and to drive them beyond the Indus. The land revenue reform of Alauddin marked an important step towards close relationship with the rural areas. Some of his measures were continued by his successor and later to provide a basis for agrarian reform of Sher Shah and Akbar. Muhammad bin Tughlaq experiment. So next to Alauddin Shah Muhammad MBTR 1324-51 तक is best remembered as a ruler who undertook a number of bold experiments and showed a keen interest in agriculture. In some ways, Muhammad bin Tughlaq was one of the most remarkable ruler of his age. He was deeply read in the religion and philosophy and had a critical and open mind. He conversed not only with basically Muslim mystic but also with the Hindu yogis and Jain saints such as Jina Prabhasuri. This was not liked by many orthodox theologians who accused him of being a rationalist, that is, one who was not prepared to accept religious belief as a matter of faith. He was also prepared to give high office to people on the basis of merit, irrespective of whether they belonged to noble families or not. Unfortunately, he was inclined to be hasty and impatient. That is why so many of these experiments failed and he has been dubbed an ill-starred idealist. Muhammad bin MBT reign started under inauspicious circumstances. Sultan Ghiyasuddin was returning to Delhi after a successful campaign against Bengal. A wooden pavilion was erected hastily at the order of MBT to give a fitting reception to the Sultan. When the captured elephant were being added, the hastily erected structure collapsed and Sultan was killed. This led to a number of rumors that MBTJ had planned to kill his father, that this was a curse of heaven and of the famous saint of Delhi, Sheikh Nizamuddin Aulia, whom the ruler had threatened to punish. The most controversial step which MBT undertook was after his accession was the so-called transfer of capital from Delhi to Deoghar. As we have seen, Deoghar had been a base for expansion of Turkish rule in the South India. MBTJ himself had spent a number of years there as a prince, and attempt to bring the entire South India under direct control of Delhi had led to serious political difficulties. The people of area were resistive under what they felt was an alien rule. A number of Muslim nobles had tried to take advantage of the situation to proclaim their independence. The most serious rebellion was that of the cousin of MBT, Gurshasp, against whom Sultan had to proceed personally. It appeared that Sultan wanted to make Deoghar a second capital so that he might be able to control South India better. For this purpose, he ordered many officers and leading men, including many Sufis, to shift to Deoghar, which was renamed Daulatabad. No attempt was made to shift the rest of the population. Delhi remained a large and populous city in the absence of Sultan. Points made in Delhi while Sultan was at Deoghar testified to this. Though MBT had built a road from Delhi to Daulatabad and set up rest house on the way to help the travelers, Daulatabad was more than 1500 km away. Many people died due to the rigor of the journey and heat. Since this moment took place during the summer season, many of those who reached Daulatabad felt homesick, and for some of them they had lived for several generations in Delhi and looked upon it as their home. Hence there was a good deal of discontent. After a couple of years, MBT decided to abandon Daulatabad, largely because he soon found that as he could not control the south from Delhi, he could not control north from Daulatabad. Though the attempt to make Daulatabad the second capital failed, the exodus did have a number of long-range benefits. It helped to bring North and South India closer together by improving communication. Many people, including religious divines who had gone to Daulatabad, settled down there. They became the means of spreading on Deccan the culture and religious and social ideas which the Turk had brought with them to North India. This resulted in a new process of cultural interaction between North and South, as well as in South India itself. Another step which MBT took at this time was the introduction of token currency. Since money is merely a medium of exchange, all countries in the world today have token currency, generally paper currency, so that they do not have to depend upon the supply of gold and silver. There was a shortage of silver in the world in the 14th century. Moreover, Kublai Khan of China had already successfully experimented with the token currency. A Mongol ruler of Iran, Ghazan Khan, had also experimented with it. MBT decided to introduce a bronze coin, which was to have same value as a silver tanka. BS हो जाएगा. Specimens of this coin have been found in different parts of India and can be seen in museum. The idea of token currency was a new one in India, and it was difficult to induce the trader as well as the common man to accept it. MBT might still have been successful if the government had been able to prevent people from forging a new coins. तो लोग नकली coins बना रहे थे. The government was not able to do so, and soon the new coin began to be greatly devalued in the market. Finally, MBT had decided to withdraw the token currency. He promised to exchange silver pieces for bronze coins. In this way, many people exchanged the new coins, but the forged coins which could be found out from the rest were not exchanged. These coins were heaped up outside the fort, and Barani says they remained lying there for many years. The failure of these two experiments affected the prestige of the sovereign and also meant wastage of money. However, government quickly recovered. Moroccan traveler Ibn Battuta came to Delhi in 1333, could not see any harmful after effect of these experiments. A far more serious problem with which MBT had to contend was that of the security of the frontier. Administration, especially revenue administration and his relation with the nobles, also presented some serious problems. We have seen in the earlier section the serious problems posed by Delhi Sultanate by the steady expansion of Mughal power into Punjab and their assault on Delhi. Although Mughal had by then become weak due to their internal dissensions, they were still strong enough to threaten the Punjab and the area near Delhi. In early years of MBT, the Mongol under their leader जो है Tarmashrin burst into Sindh and forced reach up to Meerut, about 65 km from Delhi. MBT not only defeated the Mongols in the battle near the Jhelum but also occupied Kalanur, and for some time his power extended up to Peshawar beyond the Indus. This showed that the Sultan of Delhi was now in position to go over to offensive against the Mongol. After coming back from Deoghar, the Sultan recruited a large army in order to occupy Ghazi and Afghanistan. Barani says that his object was to occupy Khorasan and Iraq. We have no means of finding out the true objective of MBT. Maybe his objective was to re-establish what we have called the scientific frontier, which is the area up to Hindu Kush and Kandahar. Maybe many of the princes and the other who had fled from Central Asia and taken shelter at the court of Muhammad thought that it was a good opportunity to oust Mongol from the area. After a year and following the failure of the experiment of establishing a token currency, the army was disbanded. Meanwhile, the situation of Central Asia changed rapidly. In due course, Timur united the entire area under his control and posed a fresh threat to India. Effect of Khorasan project should not be exaggerated or confused with the Karachil expedition. This expedition was launched by Kumai Hill in the Himalayas, allegedly by counter-Chinese incursion. After success, the armies went too far into inhospitable region and suffered a disaster. We are told that from an army of 10,000, only 10% returned. However, it seems that the hill Rajas, except the overlordship of Delhi, subsequently MBT undertook an expedition in the Kangra hills also. Thus, the hill region were fully secured. MBT undertook a number of measures to improve agriculture. Most of these were tried out in Doab region. MBT did not believe in Alauddin's policy of trying to reduce the Hussain Muqaddam headman in the village to the position of ordinary cultivator. But he did want an adequate share of the land revenue for the state. The measures he advocated had a long-term impact, but they failed disastrously during his reign. It is difficult to say whether the measures failed because of bad planning or faulty implementation by officials who lacked experience. Right at the beginning of the MBT reign, there was serious peasants' rebellion in the Gangetic Doab. Peasants fled in village and Muhammad bin Tughlaq took harsh measures to capture and punish them. Historians are of the opinion that the trouble started due to overassessment. Although the share of the state remained half, as in the time of Alauddin, it was fixed arbitrarily, not on the basis of actual produce. Prints were also fixed prices also fixed artificially for converting the produce into money. A severe famine which ravaged the area for half a dozen years made the situation worse. Efforts at relief by giving advance for cattle and seeds and for digging wells came too late. So many people died in Delhi that the air became pestilential. The Sultan left Delhi and for 2.5 years lived in a camp called Swargadwari, 100 miles from Delhi on the bank of Ganga near Kannauj. After returning to Delhi, Muhammad bin Tughlaq launched a scheme to extend and improve cultivation in Doab. He set up a separate department called as Diwan-e-Amir-e-Koi. The area was divided into development block headed by an official whose job was to extend cultivation by giving loans to the cultivator and to induce them to cultivate superior crop wheat in place of barley, sugarcane in place of wheat, grapes and dates in place of sugarcane. The scheme failed largely because the men chosen for the purpose proved to be inexperienced and dishonest. The large sum of the money advanced for the project could not be recovered. Fortunately for all concerned, Muhammad MBT had died in the meantime and Firoz wrote of the loans. But the policy advocated by MBT for extending and improving cultivation was not lost. It was taken up by Firoz and even more vigorously later on by Akbar. Another problem which MBT had to face was the problem of nobility. With the downfall of the Chahalgani Turk and the rise of the Khilji, the nobility was drawn from Muslims belonging to different races, including Indian converts. Muhammad bin Tughlaq went a step further. He not only entertained people who did not belong to noble families but gave them important offices. Most of these were the descendants. Radha. So another problem which MBT had to face was the problem of nobility. With the downfall of the Chahalgani Turks and the rise of the Khalji, the nobility was drawn from the Muslim belonging to different races, including Indian converts. MBT went a step further. He not only entertained people who did not belong to noble families but gave them important offices. Most of these were the descendants of the Muslim converts, though a few Hindu were also included. Thus, there's no reason to believe that these people were uneducated or inefficient in their job. But the officers of the earlier period who were the descendant of the noble family deeply resented it. The historian Barani makes this a main point in his denunciation of MBT. Also welcomed foreigner to the nobility, a large number of whom came to his court. Thus the nobility of the MBT consists of many divergent sections. No sense of cohesion could develop among them, nor any sense of loyalty towards the Sultan. On the other hand, the vast extent of the empire provided favorable opportunity for rebellion and for the striving to carve out independent sphere of authority. The hot and hasty temperament of MBT and his tendency to give extreme punishment to those whom he suspected of a position of disloyalty strengthened this trend. Thus the reign of MBT, while marking zenith of Delhi Sultanate, also saw the beginning of the process of its disintegration. Decline and disintegration of Delhi Sultanate, Firoz Shah's successor. So during the later half of the MBT reign, there was repeated rebellion in different parts of the empire. Rebellion by Ambitious noble, particularly in the outlying areas, were not a new feature. In most cases, the Sultan had been able to suppress them with the help of central army and a band of loyal nobles. Immediate difficulties were several. The rebellion took place one after another in different parts of the empire. In Bengal, in Malabar, that is Tamil Nadu; in Warangal, in Kampili, Karnataka, that is Karnataka; in West Bengal, in Awadh, in Gujarat, in Sindh. Immediate did not trust anyone, at least not sufficiently. So he dashed one part of the country to another to suppress the rebellion and wore out his armies. थका देता था इधर से उधर से इधर ठीक है. The rebellions in the South India was more serious. At first, rebellion in these areas were organized by local governor. The Sultanate hurried to South India. After some time, plague broke out in army. We are told that 2/3 of the army perished in this plague. This was blow from which MBTJ could never recover. Soon after the return of Sultan from South India, there was another rebellion there led by the two brothers Harihara and Buka. They set up a principality which gradually expanded. This was the Vijayanagara Empire, which soon embraced the entire south. Further north in the Deccan, some foreign nobles set up particularly principality. Further north in the Deccan, some foreign nobles set up principality near Daulatabad, which expanded into Bahmani Empire. We shall trace the achievement of these two remarkable princes in the subsequent chapter. Bengal also became independent. With a great effort, MBT was able to quell the rebellion in the Awadh, Gujarat, Sindh. While still in Sindh, MBT died and was succeeded by his cousin Firoz Shah. MBT's policy has created deep discontent among the nobles as well as in the army. He had also come into clash with Muslim theologians and Sufi saints who were very influential. But the unpopularity of the MBT should not be exaggerated. Even when he was away from the capital for a long period, the administration of Delhi, Punjab, and other part of the empire in North India continued to function normally. After his accession, Firoz Shah Tughlaq was faced with problems of preventing the imminent break of the Delhi Sultanate. मतलब ब्रेकअप होने लग गया दिल्ली सल्तनत का. तो उसने क्या करा कि जो है नोबल्स को अपीस करने की पॉलिसी ट्राई करी. द आर्मी एंड द थियोलॉजियन एंड of the asserting his authority over not only such area which could be easily administered from the center. He therefore made no attempt to reassert his authority over South India and Deccan. He led two campaigns into Bengal but was unsuccessful in both. Bengal was thus lost to the Sultanate. Even when the Sultanate continued to be as large as it was during the early years of the reign of Alauddin Khilji, Firoz Shah led a campaign against the Sultan of Jajnagar, Orissa. He desecrated the temple there and gathered a rich plunder, but made no attempt to annex Orissa. Orissa को annex नहीं करा इसने. He also led a campaign against Khangra in Punjab hills. His longest campaign was to deal with the rebellion in Gujarat and Thatta. Although the rebellion was crushed, the army suffered great hardship due to losing its way in run of Kutch. Thus, Firoz Shah was no means a distinguished military leader, but his reign was a period of peace and of quiet development. He decreed that whenever noble died, his son should be allowed to succeed to his position, including his Ikta, and if he had no son, his son-in-law, and in his absence, his slave. Firoz Shah abolished the practice of torturing nobles and their officials if any balance was found against them at the time of auditing the account of their Ikta. These steps pleased the nobles and was a major factor for absence of rebellion by the nobles, with major exceptions of one in Gujarat and Thatta. However, in long run, the policy of making the office an Ikta heredity was bound to be harmful. It reduced the chances of competent men being recruitment into the service outside a narrow circle and made the Sultan dependent on a narrow oligarchy. Firoz extended the principle of heredity to army as well. Old soldiers were allowed to rest in peace and to send in their place their sons or son-in-law. And if they were not able, their slaves. The soldiers were not to be paid in cash, but by assigning on the land revenue of villages. Assignments on the land revenue of the villages. This meant that a soldier either had to go to the village to collect his salary or absent himself from the service, or to give the assignment to some middleman who would give him a half or 1/3 of its value. Thus, the soldier did not benefit in long run. The entire military administration became lax and the soldier were allowed to pass unless the horse at the muster by bribing the clerk. In a mistaken wise view of the generosity, the Sultan himself once gave money to the soldier to bribe the clerk of the muster. Firoz tried to win over the theologian by proclaiming that he was a true Muslim king and that the state under him was a truly Islamic state. Actually, right from the time of Iltutmish's accession to the throne, there was a tussle between the Orthodox theologian and the Sultan regarding the nature of the state and the policy to be adopted by the state towards the non-Muslim. As has been stated earlier, from the time of Iltutmish and especially under Alauddin and MBT, the Turkish ruler did not allow the theologian to dictate the policy of the state. They waged jihad against the Hindu ruler whenever it was convenient for them to do so. In order to keep the theologian satisfied, a number of them were appointed to high office. The judicial and education system of the course remained in hands of the theologian. Judicial education जो है theologian देखते थे. Despite outer trapping and appearance, Firoz followed the policy of his predecessor in essential. There is no reason to believe that he allowed the theologian to dictate the state policy, but he gave a number of important concessions to the theologian. He tried to ban practice which the Orthodox theologian considered un-Islamic. Thus, he prohibited the practice of Muslim women going out to worship at the grave of the saint. He persecuted a number of Muslim sects which were considered heretical by the theologian. It was during the time of Firoz that jizya became a separate tax. Jizya जो है separate tax हो गई फिरोज के टाइम पे. Earlier it was part of land revenue. Firoz refused to exempt the Brahmins from payment of jizya since this was not provided for in the Sharia. मतलब ब्राह्मण को भी देना पड़ता था जजिया. Only women, children, disabled and indigent who had no means to livelihood were exempted from it. Worse, he publicly burnt a Brahmin for preaching to the Muslim on the ground that it was against the Sharia. On the same ground, he even ordered that the beautiful wall painting in his palace will be erased. This is a narrow view of FT was certainly harmful. At the same time, FT was first ruler who took step to have Hindu religious work translated from Sanskrit into Persia. Sanskrit से पर्शिया में ट्रांसफर किया so that there may be better understanding of the Hindu ideas and practice. Many books on music, medicine and mathematics were also translated from Sanskrit into Persian during his reign. Firoz also took a number of humanitarian measures. He banned inhuman punishment such as cutting off hand, feet, nose for theft and other offences. He set up hospital for free treatment of the poor and ordered the kotwals to make a list of unemployed person and provided dowries for the daughter of the poor. However, it is likely that these Measures were basically designed to help Muslim of good families who had fallen into bad times. This again shows that limited nature of the state in India during the medieval time. However, Feroz did emphasize on the state that state was not meant merely for awarding punishment and collecting tax, but was a benevolent institution as well. In the context of the medieval time, the assertion of this principle of benevolency was a valuable one, and Feroz Shah deserves credit for it. Feroz was keenly interested in the economic improvement of the country. He set up a large department of public work, which looked after his building program. Feroz repaired and dug a number of canals. The longest canal was about 200 km, which took off from the river Satluj to Hansi. Another canal took off from Jamuna. तो दो थी, एक तो सतलुज से हंसी और एक जमुना. And these and other canals were meant for irrigation purpose and also for providing water to some of the new towns which Feroz built. These towns, Hisar, Feroz or Hisar in modern Haryana and Firozabad in modern Uttar Pradesh, even exist today. Another step which Feroz took was both economic and political in nature. He ordered his officials that whenever they attacked a place, they should select handsome and well-born young boy and send them to Sultan as slave. In this way, Feroz gradually gathered about 180,000 slaves. Some of these he trained for carrying on various handicraft and posted them in royal workshop Karkhana all over the empire. For other, he formed a corps of soldiers who would be directly dependent on Sultan, and hence he hoped that be completely loyal to him. The policy was not a new one. As we have seen earlier, Turkish Sultan in India had followed the practice of recruiting slaves, but experience had shown that these slaves could not be dependent on for their loyalty to the descendant of their master, and that they soon formed a separate interest group apart from their nobility. When Feroz died in 1388, the administrative and political problem which had to be faced after death of every sultan came to the surface. The struggle of power between sultans and the nobles started once again. The local zamindar and rajas took advantage of the situation to assure heirs of independence. मतलब zamindar और राजा जो independent होने के लिए करने लगे. A new factor in the situation was the active intervention of Ferozi slaves and their attempt to put their own nominee on the throne. मतलब Ferozi से अपनी slaves अपनी nominee रखने लगे throne पे. Then Sultan Muhammad, son of Feroz, was able to stabilize his position with their help. But one of his first steps was to break up power of the slaves, killing and imprison many of them and scattering the rest. However, neither he nor his successor Nasiruddin Mahmud, who ruled from 1394 to 1412, could control the ambitious noble and their intransigent rajas. Perhaps a major reason for this were the reforms of Feroz, which had made the nobility too strong and the army inefficient. Okay. The governor of province became independent, and thus the Sultan of Delhi confined virtually to small areas surrounding Delhi. As of it said, the dominion of the Lord of the Universe, being the title of the Sultan of Delhi, extended from Delhi to Palam. The weakness of Delhi Sultan was made even worse by Taimur's invasion of Delhi, 1398. Mein Taimur, who was a Turk but could claim a bold relation with Changiz, had started his career of conquest in 1370 and gradually brought under his rule the entire tract from Syria to Transoxania and from southern Russia to Indus. The raid into India was plundering raid, and its motive was to seize the wealth accumulated by the Sultan of Delhi over the last 200 years. With the collapse of Delhi Sultanate, there was no one to meet this incursion. Taimur's army mercilessly sacked and plundered the various towns on way to Delhi. Taimur then entered Delhi and sacked it without mercy. Radha. Large number of people, both Hindu, Muslim, as well as women, children, lost their lives. Taimur's invasion once again showed the danger of weak government in India. It resulted in drain of large amount of wealth, gold, silver, jewelry from India. Taimur also took with him a large number of Indian artisans such as mason, stonecutter, carpenter. Some of them helped him in putting up many fine buildings in his capital Samarkand. But the direct political effect of Taimur's invasion of India was small. The invasion of Taimur may, however, be regarded as marking the end of the phase of strong rule by Delhi Sultanate. Although the Tughlaq dynasty itself lingered until 1412. The responsibility for disintegration of Delhi Sultanate cannot be ascribed to any one ruler. We have seen that there was some persistent problem during the medieval times, such as the relation between monarch and the nobles, the conflict with local rulers and zamindar, the pull of regional and geographical factors, etc. Individual rulers tried to cope with these problems, but none of them was in position to effect fundamental changes in society to offset these perennial factors. Disintegration of the political fabric was thus just beneath the surface, and any weakness in the central administration set off a chain of events leading to political disintegration. Feroz was able to contain the chain reaction which had sent in due to over extension of the empire under Ghiyasuddin and Muhammad Tughlaq. He instituted a series of reforms aimed at appeasing the nobles and the soldier, which however weakened the central machinery of administration. As we have seen, the period from 1200 to 1400 saw many new features in Indian life, is the system of government, the life, the condition of people, and the state of the art and architecture. These will be subject of another chapter. Radhe